Hey everyone, it's Bri. I'm back with another process video for y'all today, and it's going to be a little different because I'm going to be creating a shaker card. And usually I do scrapbook layouts or other projects. I really don't share like the cards that I make, so that's why I thought I'd shake it up a little bit. And well, that's funny, no pun intended, but I am going to be creating a shaker pocket. And if you weren't aware, Shimmerz Paints now carries stamp sets. So I will have a link to everything in the description box below. Today I chose that stamp set that I have on my desk, and it's called Lovely Balloons, and it was created by one of the design team members here for Shimmerz. Her name is Lila Quinn, and she did a really good job. I love this set so much. It is super fun and super pretty, and so I will be showing you how I stamp with it and how I color with it. So what I've started off before, I showed you some dies that I had just recently purchased at Tuesday morning. It's like a starburst die, and it comes with several different shapes. So I cut the shapes out. I stacked two dies together inside each other, not stacked, laid them inside each other, and I ran it through my die cutting machine to create a frame. So now I'm taking the middle of the smaller die, and I'm going to be painting it in with one of the new colors that Shimmerz had just recently came out with last week. It's called It's Meant to Be. So I just created just a simple background. I didn't want to do too much because that's going to be the inside of my shaker card. So the other color that I have out is another Shimmerz, and it's in Lilac Blossom, and it is gorgeous. So last week they came out with 3 new colors. It's Meant to Be, Lilac Blossom, and Limoncello. And they're both super springy and summery and absolutely gorgeous. And I caught mine in the mail last week, so I knew for sure that the next project I was going to create was going to be using these new colors. Okay, so I am starting to stamp my balloon, and I stamped the basket, and then I had created a mask for a previous project, and I put the mask over the basket so I could go ahead and stamp the flowers as well as the balloon. So, and not sure. Oh, I pulled it to closer to me so I can make sure that I stamped the balloon perfectly, and then that you didn't see my head. So that's why I kind of pulled it out of frame. I'm sorry about that, but I wanted it to stamp just right. Okay, so now that I have my image stamped and, you know, with my mask so that the flowers are look like they're laying inside the basket, I'm going to go ahead and start painting my hot air balloon. And I have, I'm reaching for Lilac Blossom and just applying it. And now this is just regular white cardstock. I didn't prep any of this with gesso like I did my the inside of the starburst. Because I knew I'm not going to add too much liquid on this, and I'm going to try to keep it really light and be light-handed, so I'm not going to sit there and really paint into the cardstock to make it pill up or anything. So I was just applying the color pretty lightly. All right, so I do have another newer color, or newer to me, and it's another Shimmerz, and it's in Moulin Rouge. And if you weren't familiar, the specific Shimmerz pots, like the original Shimmerz, already have liquid in it, so you don't need to add anything. I kind of like to, water it down sometimes, only because I like to savor my colors, I guess, and I do like the lightness of it. Okay, so I've gone in and I added Moulin Rouge on my hot air balloon, and I painted up the flowers. And then I'm going back with It's Meant to Be to paint in the leaves. And so this is perfect because I got to use all 3 of the new colors, and I needed a color for my basket, and Limoncello was perfect. And it's super pretty. They're so sparkly. I really, really love how this turned out. So I'm going to lay it aside so it can dry and I don't mess with it. And I pulled out some acetate that I picked up at, it's Stampin' Up! Acetate, but I had picked it up at a garage sale for $1. I think there was maybe 4 shapes left in the little pack, which to me was worth it. So I'm tracing out the inside of the starburst because I know that it's going to need to be a little bit bigger than what I just traced, only because it's going to need to fit the frame, but it needs to be big enough so I can adhere the acetate to the frame and it just doesn't go through it. So I'm cutting it, but I'm giving myself a little bit of room on the outside. So I'm not tracing it perfectly. That's what I'm saying. All right. So my finger had actually got into some, my background. It hadn't completely dried yet, and so I didn't like the way it looked. So I tried to fill it in, but I ended up covering it up anyways at the end because it was bothering me. Okay, so I'm gluing on my adhesive with my Scotch tacky glue. And I'm going to press that on. There we go, to create a little window. And those dies, I think I got them at Tuesday Morning, I think for like $4.99, and it came with quite a few. I can't remember how many, but it did come with quite a few. So I'm lightly dusting off my acetate with my powder tool to get rid of the static so my sequins don't stick. And then I've got these little Doris adhesive foam strips, and they're super, super skinny, and I love them so, so much because it's perfect. I didn't have to worry about cutting down like my Scotch mounting tape. And so I'm just applying it, and I don't make you watch me do the whole thing because it does take me a little bit because they are very sticky, and so it kept sticking to my finger. So I edited that part out. All right, so I'm adding some Spiegel Mom Scrap sequins to my shaker, and I think the ones I used were Wonderland, Teal Me Tomorrow, and Peacock Strut, the colors that were in, that matched with the color scheme. So I'm just adding a few little handfuls of each, and I am going to press my my window on top, and I know that I'm leaving like a little bit of a gap, since the inside of that starburst doesn't fit completely, so I'm centering it, and I love how it came out, and my sequins can move. And now, of course, some of the adhesive, because I layered them up, I had 2 little layers so that the sequins could move around in there. There was a little bit of adhesive that kind of is poking out, so a few of my sequins are kind of stuck to that. I did go through with my powder tool to kind of help get rid of the stickiness, but it didn't get rid of it all. But that's okay. I put enough in there that it still shakes and there's still movement. All right, so I fussy cut my little water balloon, not water balloon, my goodness, my air balloon. And now I decided that it was way too white for me. So, it being a starburst, and me loving that limoncello color, I decided to lightly paint the frame of my starburst with that color. And I like how it pops. And then after I see this, I'm like, okay, well, the mixed media lover in me the background's too white. I can't do it. So I pull out another Shimmerz. As you can tell, my recent purchase at Shimmerz Paints were a lot of Shimmerz. So I pulled out Pixie Dust, and it's basically just like, is it Blingz? No, it's not Shimmerz, it's Blingz. So it's very shimmery, and it's clear, well, kind of clear. So I paint around my starburst, and then I'm going to go ahead and adhere my little hot air balloon. Or no, wait, not yet. I'm going to stamp out a sentiment, and I was trying to figure out which one to use. I did end up going with the Special. I think I used Lovely on my last Traveler's Notebook project with the stamp set, so I used Special this time. And so I stamped it out, and then I stamped it with a little banner, and then I'm going to fussy cut the banner out and place it on top of my balloon. So yeah, cutting it out. And these are my new Tim Holtz scissors. I think they're the 5-inch, and I love them. They're great for fussy cutting. I still love my cutter bays, but these are fantastic. If you're thinking about getting them, I recommend them. They're very comfortable, like when you hold them, especially for fussy cutting. And I'm super excited to share a card process on my channel. I usually don't. That's normally like my scrapbook layouts because I do struggle with cards, and cards usually take me a long time. But this one it came to me fairly quickly and easy. So like I said, I wasn't happy with my background. I really wanted more color. So I pull out another Shimmerz, and this is in Winter's Mist, and it's a really, really pretty blue. And I wanted it to basically look like the sky. And since I, did paint the Pixie Dust on there, it kind of looked like a, cloudy sky. So yeah, I'm putting on my little foam tape on my hot air balloon. And I don't know why I added it to the bottom because it just hangs. It doesn't, the bottom of the basket is not supported. So I think I thought about maybe, popping it up on the bottom to support it, but it would just use too much tape and it didn't really need it. So I was, kind of fiddling with the special sentiment and figuring out where to put it. And of course, I thought it looked best as if it was, you know, strapped to my little hot air balloon. And that is it. In like regard to my card. Now this part is easy. I'm just making the card base to my card, but I'm not really good at card sizes. It's a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 size card. I think that's an A5. No, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna try because I probably messed it up. So basically, I'm just adhering my panel to my card base, and I am done. So I really, really hope that you check out the Shimmerz Paints stamp sets that they have. This is only one of them. There are a lot of beautiful stamp sets, and they are great quality, and they're awesome. So I'll leave links to everything below, including all the colors that I used today. There's my final card. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing and commenting, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks again.